It was glorious. It was fun. It was amazing. It looked like, wow, I might actually make this. And then this happened. It's the 31st. It's almost 11 a.m. And yes, I did not get to finish my illustration last night. It wasn't because I ran out of space for filming. It wasn't because it got too late, though it was really late. No, it was because my battery ran out completely. I did charge the thing earlier. I didn't think it was going to be a problem, basically. But yeah, that's basically what ruined it. I do want to film the other thing fully. And it was getting late. It was about 11? No. I don't, 11. Yeah, that would never happen. No, it was about 1. So I quickly threw together this sketch, and because my battery was dead, I didn't get to film that, but you didn't really miss much. So, it's the last day of Gillustrations, and this is the last video on Gillustrations. So what better time to be brutally honest and ask the hard question? Was Gillustrations a failure? Let's be honest here. Just looking through the titles of all my Gillustration videos, it's not exactly hard to tell that this challenge was no walk in the park, as they say. There's just so many different things that went wrong that I could have done better. And despite having various different parts of it that were very fun, that were very enjoyable, and learning a lot through it, there's some very big issues. Most of the complaints I have about Gillustrations all have to do with how I planned it all out, how I organized it, how I went about it, all that kind of stuff. The problem being that I didn't. But this one really has more to do with me. Starting any challenge, there's a lot of pressure. And for me, this pressure mostly comes from myself. I want to do the best I can possibly do. And if I'm not really doing that, well, I have a hard time, just being content with that. A lot of the times this is a very helpful thing, actually. It really helps me, push my skills and improve a lot. But when you come upon a situation like Gillustrations, where I'm pushing myself so completely out of my comfort zone to do these things that I had never done before, to do them in a really short period of time, it adds a lot of pressure. I went into this with this ideal up here. This is what I wanted it to look like, and I had expectations. I knew probably not going to reach that ideal. I have time limits. I'm new to this. I knew I wasn't going to go over here. But at the same time, even though I knew, okay, I'm probably going to reach about here, I still, every day, tried to go as close to my ideal as possible. So I still in effect kind of had that pressure there all the same. Maybe slightly less because I wasn't expecting myself to do this good. Later on into the challenge, I think I dealt with that a little more. I realized, okay, I have to get rid of this ideal. The problem is, I only really did that when I was feeling so tired and burnt out that I was just like, okay, I just can't. But I think it would have gone a whole lot smoother if I had, from the very beginning, realized, okay, this should be my standard. This should be what I aim for to prevent myself from burnout. It would have been a little bit different if I hadn't been doing illustrations every single day, because I would have had a little more time to work up towards closer to that ideal. But I was doing a daily illustration, so that wasn't a factor. So the plan for today is to finish off the illustration. I really hope I'll be able to do that. The reason why I think it's kind of unlikely is because I actually have 2 appointments I have to go to today, and I have an article I have to write. Also, did I mention footage space might be a bit of a problem? because it is. I'm going to be gone a lot today, basically. So, yeah, I'm a little worried about that. Okay, but it is the last day of Gillustrations, and I just want to take a moment to appreciate the fact that I am almost done this challenge. It has been so fun in many ways, but it has also been incredibly stressful, and I'm so looking forward to being able to get back to my regular schedule once again. More time to do more other kinds of work. I knew from the very beginning of this challenge that it was going to be very different. And there was going to be an added level of stress on me because before, when I've been doing challenges, I haven't really been doing things that were super new to me. And I don't think stress really has to be a bad thing. There's ways to deal with it where it's just a factor. It doesn't have to be this super negative thing. Unfortunately, it did kind of become this thing. Going into the challenge, like I said, I knew these things. I knew it was going to be so much harder. But I also didn't factor in the other differences. One of the biggest differences is just my busyness level. In the past, whenever I've been doing challenges, I didn't have a ton of responsibilities as far as my art goes. I wasn't making videos. I only had my blog. That was basically it. Now I have so much more going on, not just for my art, but for basically everything else. I didn't factor that I was planning on making videos for these things, and that was going to be super time consuming. I did kind of know that. I just didn't have an idea of how much time it would take up. All of these things just factored in to make the whole thing a lot harder than I was really prepared for it being. Like, going into something when you're really just not prepared at all, and you kind of bite off more than you can chew, it's a recipe for disaster, basically. I have a decent amount done of this. It could use a lot of work, but honestly, I don't know how much I need. I'm probably not going to render these guys in the background a lot. In fact, I'm almost thinking of leaving them basically just as they are. To be honest, I think I don't really need a lot more. So my plan is basically just render the face as much as possible until it starts looking like a normal human being, and then move on to the hat and the clothes and do what's most important first, and then slowly work back like a good illustrator does. That's the plan. But like I said, I am quite busy today. So, speaking of videos, I think if we're being honest here, they were the straws that broke the camel's back. And again, a lot of that came down to how I went about doing them. Much like the illustrations, I was very new, and I still am, new to the style of videos I was doing with my illustrations. So it required a lot of fooling around, a lot of kind of just figuring it out as I went along, which requires extra time and extra thought. I think it's really what pushed me over the edge. All of the other things I was busy with, they were a lot, but they were all manageable. I would have been tired, because that's what staying up till 2 every night does to you. You don't say. But I would have been able to manage it without burning out, I think. But I didn't do that. I don't think I really noticed how big of an impact they had on it, because it kind of seemed like a side thing. It seemed like it was the art and like the stress of trying to make good things that was getting in the way. But I think without having to worry about the videos, I would have been able to focus on those things a lot better. Now, does this mean I regret doing the videos, and next time I do a challenge, I'm just not going to film at all? no, because it's good content, so anything for good content. No, I'm just joking, but I'm not joking. I think there's several ways I could have gone about it better. First of all, if I wasn't so new to illustrating, doing the videos, figuring all that out wouldn't have been as stressful because I wouldn't be juggling two things that were incredibly new to me. Another thing I could have done is just done a simplified format. Maybe I could have just worked on the videos the month after I was done all the challenge, though honestly I don't know if my computer could hold all that footage. But there's a bunch of different things I could have done, and as I get more familiar with video editing, I don't think that's really going to be so much of a problem. But during this challenge, with the expertise I had, or I should say didn't have, and all of these other things, it was like the behind the scenes catalyst for my downfall. I'm back from my appointment, and the good news is that was incredibly short, and the second appointment I had has been rescheduled to tomorrow when I don't have illustrations. So it's about 1. I've been home for about an hour, a little less. I haven't worked on my illustration. I have been busy trying to make more room for footage on my camera, just editing all that stuff down. Now that I've spent the last 12 minutes talking about how much Illustrations was a failure, let's talk about the areas where it actually succeeded, because believe it or not, it was actually very successful in some ways. The biggest way of all was just the result. When I went into Illustrations, I had a very distinct goal in mind. I had wanted to experiment with stylizing my art for a long time, but I never really knew how to go about it. And even if I got to the point where I was actually working on an illustration, a very rare occurrence indeed, I spent so much time agonizing over the details and wondering if what I was doing was the best, and just trying to get it, to look good. Basically, I was being my usual perfectionistic self. But because I was just so unsure of what I was doing, that just made it take so much longer. And so I thought, what better way to fix this problem and get myself a little more comfortable with illustrations than to do a daily illustration challenge? It kind of, in a sense, takes the pressure off you. You have to make an illustration every day. You can't afford to be perfectionistic, or at least not that perfectionistic. You can only afford to procrastinate for so long, and so you end up just putting things out there and not really thinking too much about, oh, is this perfect? And if it doesn't turn out perfect, if it looks a little weird, who cares? You just had a day to work on it. Did it actually do this? Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable with making illustrations. Am I 100% confident in everything I do now? No. I still probably will agonize over the details. That's basically just what I do. But I do feel so much more comfortable, and I've kind of accepted the fact my illustrations aren't going to be all I want them to be, and that's just okay. Now, the other question is, did doing illustrations actually take pressure off of me? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I did put a little too much pressure on myself, especially in the beginning, but I very quickly realized that wasn't really feasible, and I don't think the pressure was as strong as it would have been if I didn't have the 24-hour time limit. I think the pressure was more of an issue on other areas, like with how much I was expecting myself to get done and stuff like that. It's almost 11, I'm still not done. I don't think I have a ton of work left to do, but I've kind of been putting it off for the last bunch of hours. I've been taking a break from it, because I feel like if I push it too much, it's just not going to turn out looking good. And I have some complaints, let's just say. For one, her skin is turning out very red, which is totally my fault for being rushed. So I took a break. I worked on some of the other things that I had to do, and I'm kind of now debating with myself if I should continue working on this or continue working on the other thing that I kind of have to get done tonight. I don't really know. Well, my battery is just about to die, so I guess that fixes things for me. Darn it. Oh, goodness. You'd think I would think about that now, but no, I never remembered to think about that at all. I'll see if I can get like a wash or two in, and once my battery quits, I guess I'll go back to the other thing. Let's talk about the monthly prompt for a second though, because that's like a whole topic on its own. And once again, we come back to the question of, should I have even done it? Especially considering the fact that I was so exhausted and kind of burnt out. Again, there's two sides of this, because when it comes to the actual idea, what I wanted for it just would have required so much more time and planning to really get anything close to what I wanted. And there's a part of me that's very disappointed that I just wasn't able to do that. I also, let's be honest here, I don't really like how the monthly prompt turned out. Not just because it's nothing like my original idea, because I kind of accepted that was just going to happen. But if you look at the main focus of the prompt, her skin is just so red and muddy, and I just can't get over it. I just, when I see it, that is what I see. And so it kind of ruins the whole thing for me, in a sense. I honestly just wish I had saved the idea for a different day. But in another sense, I think it was exactly what I needed at the time. I was just feeling so tired and demotivated from doing all the simple illustrations. It kind of felt like I was just crawling along half-heartedly doing the challenge. I needed something to work towards. And the monthly prompt was just that perfect thing. Could it have been a different idea? Yes, and I wish it had been, but it wasn't. And so, despite all the stress, despite all the pressure, despite all the exhaustion, I'm oddly glad that I did the monthly prompt. What is a very apt word for the situation. Was Gillustration successful? It's debatable, but I think it's safe to say that when it came to its results, it was about as successful as I ever expected it to be. That has been the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you gained a sliver of wisdom from all my mistakes. Oh, and yeah, I did actually finish the prompt, just in case you were wondering. I don't know why I didn't update you when I finished, but it appears I didn't. And let me know some of your challenge fails to make myself feel a little bit better, or conversely, let me know some of the strategies you have used to let your challenges go a little more smoothly. I will see you on Friday, and you know how I know that for sure? Because I already made the video. So glad to be done with these Gillustration videos, let me tell you. Alright, bye!